Welcome to our 2-Minute Tuesday, and this one's going to be about the splitters. Let's get right to it. Before the city's move and destruction at the time of casting, there were gangs scattered throughout the city. These gangs had a rigid hierarchy and strong leadership in each area. They made their money through distribution of some goods to destitute parts of the city where they didn't run afoul of the Thieves Guild, and then they had agreements with the Thieves Guild to move some of the products that needed more feet on the street. Things like Dream and Forget, and sometimes the Druid would come in and sell some of their more hallucinogenic berries to make some money if they had to interact with the nobles. And everything was well and good. Then at the time of casting they moved. Camelot ended up in an area where 1/3 of the city was destroyed because they had formerly been a landlocked city with a river running through it. Now they're on the coast with a big chunk of land missing from where districts used to be. Most importantly, the Guilds district was completely wiped out. Bard's College, all the Wizards Guilds or Wizard Schools. But most importantly for this, the Beggars Guild, Thieves Guild, and Assassins Guild all had areas inside this district. Now, the gangs immediately saw their opportunity. They weren't wiped out because they were distributed throughout the city. The guilds were really compacted and had no leadership at this point. So what the gangs did is they moved into every area throughout Camelot. And the people took notice very quickly because the gangs weren't nearly as skilled and they didn't have any discipline behind them. They wanted their quick buck as fast as possible. Citizens complained, guards cracked down hard. Also, the sovereignty was being formed at this time and they helped lock down the city. So now the gangs were in turmoil. So who steps in? The Opus Vitus. Now remember before when we talked about the Opus Vitus, they're the ones who police all the economic behavior throughout the city. Well, we know these people aren't the nicest people in the world, but they got a writ from the nobles to come in and help out the poor children who would not be committing these crimes if they had access to some of the things they needed to survive. The standard lie that we even use in our country for this type of behavior. But what the Opus Vitus did is they gave the gangs a viable business model. So indeed, they did help them out in this case. What they did was they needed more feet on the ground now. With all kinds of roads destroyed and checkpoints everywhere and difficulty in traveling between areas, they needed to be able to police their businesses and make sure that trade was still happening and they were getting their cut. That's where the gangs came in. The gangs took over. They became known as the Splitters. Now, you probably realize there wasn't enough business just the Opus Vitus could give them. However, the new director that the Opus Vitus had put over the gangs was a known Flagenis follower. He was a follower of McMahon McLear and was very fond of Matt McConaughey followers. And they have no problem with Morgan / Raven Queen either. However, they do have a problem with the Morning Lord Belinus and this new Hela god. So this puts them in direct conflict with the party, because what the Splitters are doing now is they're doing Flagenis' work at his behest, and this is coming down squarely on the side of the Flagenis, because the wild cards of magic really cause problems for people who can't cast it, and those who care more about money and power really care more about that being controlled than they care about the freedom of anyone to cast it. So some of the things you'll know when you see Splitters come in further on into the campaign, people will say, "You can't defeat a chain of command," or "Our orders will make us strong." "All you separationists, make yourselves weak." Those will be the battle cries that will be key to hearing the Splitters. That's today's 2 for Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe.